All right, folks, Darren Chang again, and I'm reviewing a messenger bag. This is a messenger bag made by the company STM, and it's called the Velo 2, and this is the medium-sized Velo 2. They do make a smaller size for a 13-inch laptop. This is for a 15-inch laptop. So this is a, STM is out of Australia, and as you know, I've actually reviewed one of their other bags. I think it was called the STM Trust, if I'm not mistaken. So let's take a look at what this bag has to offer. Again, as always, I'm going to start from the outside, move to the inside, and then across the top, and then to the back. First thing you'll notice is that it does not have a Fastex buckle here. It has it's a buckle nonetheless, but it's not the typical side release Fastex buckle here. Instead, you lever it open like this. It's a little bit quieter, perhaps. I don't think it makes one bit of difference whether it's a Fastex or if it's this type of buckle. But the nice thing is there's no Velcro, so it's going to be a quiet opening, and that always is a benefit, a bonus from my perspective. So let's get right into this. Now, the one thing you'll notice here is that when I open this up, you'll immediately see that it actually has a lower front wall. Most messenger bags, the wall would come right up to the top here. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but you'll also notice too that there's a zipper here, and if you wanted to, you could actually have a zipper closure holding the top end of this bag, or that main opening, closed, while you would be able to access the other openings on the front of the bag. In the very front here, we have a little hanging tab here where you could put a blinking light if you are using this as a cycling bag. And then I have a pretty good sized pocket here. It's actually, it goes down to the extent that you can see the stitching down here and up into this area. I could imagine keeping a cell phone, maybe your wallet, easy access here. Just one open pocket there, not divided. Just behind this compartment zips all the way down to the very bottom of the bag, and it allows you to open up and see that we have an organizer pocket here, key fob, a couple of slots here where you could potentially fit you could certainly fit an iPhone 5S or smaller into this zone. These are a little bit smaller, maybe pack of gum. You know, I would put my Burt's Bees into this area potentially. And then we have a zippered compartment here, which has a fine mesh so you could see through to the inside of what it is that you are containing in there. And then we have just two pencil, pen, / stylus pockets. Okay, decent organizer. I wouldn't say it's great. I think I'd rather have another couple of pen holders here and maybe one less of these pockets that are a little bit too small to hold an iPhone and yet a little bit too big potentially to hold my Burt's Bees. So, I don't know. It's not the best organizer, nor is it the largest, so you don't have too many options going on here. Let me zip this area back up again. From here, let's move into the main compartment. And again, you'll see this is where we have this odd thing where the low scoop neck, essentially, into the main compartment means that you can zipper this closed. I'm not sure how convenient that is to me because, frankly, you have to sort of hold this open. You can't just throw the flap over the back and have it stay open while you access the organizer panel. So it really becomes almost like a three-hand operation here where you need one hand to hold open this flap and then two more to unzip it or get access to whatever you need in this organizer compartment. So in the end, I would probably just as soon leave this always unzipped to the main compartment, right? So that I can always just leave it over the back like this and then be able to access the organizer compartment in the front without having to hold the flap open. Now, immediately you'll notice the one thing that you have to deal with when you're opening this up. If you want to get access to anything in the back, you really need to fully unzip this. And to fully unzip it, you really need to crank this thing all the way open so that you can then peel this whole layer back far enough to more easily get to the panels in the back here. Otherwise, it sort of hangs over just a little bit to make it hard to remove something, say like a file from this pocket that you would have file folders hanging in, or even potentially here, and I'll talk about this in just a moment, if I had my tablet in here, I have to sort of lever in and pull it out at an angle rather than just being able to lift it straight out. So really having to crank this back because of the presence of the zipper holding it all together, it makes it a little bit more of a headache there. Without the zipper, the flap would just go to the back and it wouldn't be any issues. Okay? So let's take a look. The one thing that's great about this main compartment here is it has a huge footprint. I mean, if you look at the bottom, you'll see how wide the footprint is here, which makes this bag incredibly stable, number one, so it doesn't fall over. And it also means that you can load a lot into this bag. So I love the fact that this compartment is just enormous back in here. What I don't really love, and it goes back to this whole design mode that they decided to do this scoop here, this lower front wall, because what it does mean is if I have, let's say I'm taking this is my camera insert here, which I carry with me all the time. Let's go ahead and put this camera insert into here. You'll see that this is going to fill all the way up to this front edge. Now, the great thing about that is it's really easy to see the contents of what's inside of this large compartment, this main compartment. But the problem is that if I wanted to put something on top of this, the fact that it opens up like this means that whatever it is I decide to put in there has the risk of falling out of the bag. Especially if I decide I'm not going to use the zipper, which I already got through saying why I wouldn't. So if we take something like my headphones here, and I decided just to leave them up on top of there, and even if I were to buckle the bag, you can imagine how easy it would be if it got jostled around for this to fall out of the bag, right? Out of the side, out of the, whatever, because it doesn't have the wall around it to be able to contain anything that I might want to put on top of my camera bag. Now, even if you don't carry a camera bag, you can't really put anything above this line here. You can't, without the risk of it potentially falling out of the bag because of this low wall here. So while it does have the benefit of being able to look into the bag and see things more readily, I don't think that benefit outweighs the cost of losing a lot of cubic inches here of storage space that you might have. Okay, so let's get inside of this and see what's happening. On the front wall, it may be hard for you to see this here, but on the very front wall, we have two pockets here that have elasticized tops. So they're generic pockets. They could very easily fit a wallet. In fact, let me just show you. I can slide my wallet right into this part, and it's actually the perfect size for a typical size wallet. But you can put hard drives in there, cables, any number of things you'd want to put in there. You'll also notice on the side wall here, we have another large pocket. It's nice to have a big old pocket right here along the side, and in fact, there's a pretty good chance that I could fit, there's no doubt I could fit a water bottle in here as long as it's not too tall. On the other side, you don't have that matching pocket on the other side, so it's just a blank wall space here. That's totally fine. You don't need to have too many pockets. And then, as I mentioned earlier, along the back wall, we have a large open-topped pocket, and it's into that large open-top pocket that I would be able to put things like my file folders. They'd slide right in there. There's no Velcro to get in the way of pulling things out or putting things in, actually. The only thing I would say, again, a design flaw to this is that the wonderful iPad pocket, I'm glad that they included a tablet pocket here, but notice that the tablet pocket is behind your files rather than in front of the file folder. I'm not quite sure why they decided that that would be a good idea, because frankly, you can see that if I put my iPad into this pocket, I actually need to reach behind my files to get to my iPad pocket, which is set lower than the pocket, the file folder pocket. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I would have reversed those things and put the iPad in the front and the files in the back. However, having an iPad pocket which is fleece lined and separate from your laptop pocket, that is a wonderful design, and I really wish that every single one of these messenger bags did that. I mean, this day and age, everyone has both a laptop and a tablet of some sort. So you really need to design for that sort of that user. Okay, so let's zip now. Let's go to the outside of the bag here. You'll notice the thing that's most striking about this bag is that we have these two sort of vertical, not even sort of, they are vertical pockets on either side that attach to the shoulder straps, or they extend to the shoulder straps themselves. And these pockets are long enough that they can easily fit one of those retractable folding umbrellas in here. You could potentially put a water bottle. I will tell you that it will fit only a small water bottle. It's not going to fit a full 750 milliliter water bottle. Perhaps if I were to, if they were to consult me in their design, I would have chosen one of these to be a generic open pocket, you know, a mesh pocket into which I could put a 750 milliliter bottle, and the other side could still remain this zipped up long pocket on the side. Obviously, I think it was important for them to have some symmetry here, and so that's why they decided to do two identical pockets on either side. At the very top of the bag here, you have a fleece-lined pocket, perfect for sunglasses, or maybe you want to put your iPhone in here, and it zips up. There's another design flaw here, which is unfortunate because I think it makes having a pocket on the top makes a lot of sense. But unfortunately, they've decided to make the fleece-lined pocket actually go into the interior of the flap. Rather than hanging down, say right here, okay, into the main compartment of the bag, the fleece pocket is in the flap. The reason why that's an issue from my perspective is if I have my sunglasses in here and somebody squishes me, I'm in a crowded subway car or something, and they press against me here, my glasses are just one thin layer of fabric right behind here, so they can more easily get crushed, as opposed to having this behind hanging down in the main compartment. And then you would have not only the outer layer of the flap, you'd have the inner nylon of the flap, then you'd have the actual pocket itself, which you could potentially even make padded, hanging down inside there. And I think that would have been a better design rather than trying to force it in here. Now, of course, if you have a pocket hanging down here, that does get in the way of a lot of the things that you want to get access to. So there's design compromises that come into play. This is kind of a tight opening here. The zipper is only this wide. And so when I had to put my whole hand in here, it actually is a little bit restrictive, a little hard to get in there. It would have been nice if they just opened this up maybe another inch on either side, so then I could have reached in more easily to get in there, or just made the pocket a little bit more shallow, where it would have only taken 2 fingers for me to reach in there and pull out what it is that I had in there. Nice handle here. It's padded. And it's really a strong, centrally located handle. Notice that when I hold this, because it's centered in the bag front to back, it doesn't tip into my knee if I'm holding it at my side the way that so many bags do, in fact. All right, another really nice design here is that there's a little tag here, a small piece of webbing, and this is really handy because if I want to hang this bag on a hook, it's the great place to hang it. Instead of hanging it on the handle, which is set a little bit further away from this back, it'll hang really easily. So nice little touch to put this in here. It didn't take much, but it really makes a difference to me. The shoulder strap. It is fully adjustable. It has a nice cam here to make that really easy. It's got, while it may be a short little shoulder pad area, it's wide, and it also has the sort of rubbery texture on the bottom to keep it on your shoulder. Really nice shoulder strap here. So let's zoom to the back here. We can see here that we have a nice open pocket. Put your mail, put file folders in here if you wanted to. And very importantly, you'll notice that at the bottom there's a zipper so that this becomes one of those sleeves that you could use by hanging it over the luggage, the handle of your rolling luggage. You can carry it around through the airport without slinging it over your shoulder. That's a really nice option. I wish all bags had that as well. And then on the side here, we have a side opening area, and there's a nice padded, fleece-lined laptop area, and you could easily fit a 15-inch MacBook Pro into here. So it has a separate laptop compartment. Once again, a huge bonus to me, so that you don't have to go into the main compartment when you need to access something like your laptop. There's no hook, there's no sort of loop or of webbing here to keep your laptop inside this compartment. So if you forget to zip this, or if it becomes unzipped, and then you pick up your bag and start walking away, top-loading ones have the benefit of gravity keeping your laptop in here. A side-loading one, gravity is going to be your enemy here, because if you pick up your bag, it's very possible that your laptop slides out, particularly because there's no buckle holding it in. So I'm not a big fan of a side opening thing. It would have been just as easy to have the zipper along the back in my mind. So I'm not quite sure why they made, obviously, the deliberate decision to make this a side access situation rather than a top access situation, which I think would be much safer for your technology. Okay, so I think that's about it for the main features of this bag. It's a good bag, and it's certainly rated well in my point system. There are just a few niggling things here and there that prevent this from being the bag. Take a look at the written review as well as the photos, and hopefully that'll help you to make a decision as to what is the best messenger bag for you to purchase. Hope this helps. Take care.